Hi everyone, Kareen Erbe here with Broken Ground, and I am starting a series this winter, a little bit late, granted, called Q&A with Kareen. And I have already gotten a bunch of questions from you about gardening, and so continue to ask more as you watch this series and things come up for you. And so the idea is just to answer your question in video format, just because sometimes it's easier than a long missive about a particular topic. So to get started this year, and again, there are going to be a series of questions over the course of the next few weeks, so just stay tuned for that. But my first question is from Sandra, and she wrote, just before the cold weather really hit, I harvested everything. Bins and bins of green tomatoes. They are with apples to ripen as they bloomed late and set late. They were outside on the south side of my house like last year. Not sure if the starts would have been better done earlier. A neighbor gave them to her. Romas and early girl varieties. My insulated greenhouse was 120 to 130 degrees all summer, as we had a very hot summer. So the plants inside the greenhouse weren't too happy. It has beeswax vents near the top of the peaked roof on the north and south ends, but didn't control the heat enough. I was told that I would need another vent in the middle of the roof. So a few different questions here, but all with regards to tomatoes and something good to be thinking about as we come up to the spring. So thank you so much for your question, Sandra. And tomatoes in cold climates can definitely be tricky. So here are a few things that will help. Usually in our climate, tomatoes go outdoors as transplants around the end of May. But I'm still protecting them, even though they're outside. So technically they'd probably be okay without protection. But the thing is they will be much happier and less stressed if you actually protect them. So with either frost cloths or what are called waller waters, you can kind of jumpstart them a little bit more or get them to grow a little bit faster than they normally would, so that they can likely mature on time by the fall. There are also a lot of extra things that you can do at the end of the season with your tomatoes, and I have a video about that, so that I'll drop that video below, and it's how you get your tomatoes to ripen near the end of the season. And a lot of it is about not watering them, stressing them out at the end, cutting back all the flowers, and really forcing them to mature. So those are a few things to keep in mind. And then with regards to your question about a greenhouse, yes, if you have a small greenhouse, like an 8x10 greenhouse or a 10x12 greenhouse, it will heat up way too much. So what you need to do usually, and venting is just not going to be enough. Having a fan in there is not going to be enough. The best thing to do is to purchase a shade cloth, because that will lower the temperature significantly. What I've found in these smaller kind of home scale greenhouses is there's no other way to do it, and you don't really want to run a fan 24, it won't be 24/7, but it'll probably be for 8 hours a day, while that thing is 120 degrees. And the thing to realize, like you said, things weren't very happy in there. At around like 85, 90 degrees, tomatoes start dropping their flowers in a greenhouse if they're that hot. That's why in warmer climates, of course, people grow on the shoulder seasons oftentimes for some of those hot crops, because it's just simply too hot in somewhere like, say, Austin, Texas. It's too hot during the summer for things to produce well. So I would suggest you purchase a shade cloth. You can sometimes purchase the shade cloth by the linear foot. There are several places like Gardener's Supply that also have shade cloths, but that would be your best bet in terms of being able to use your greenhouse during the middle of the summer. Small greenhouses like that are really great at the beginning, like early season greens, and oftentimes in the fall for late season greens, but they do have problems in the summer if you don't use that shade cloth. So let me know if you have any follow-up questions, Sandra, or if anybody else has follow-up questions with regards to tomato growing or small scale greenhouses. Thanks so much for watching.